they had a sewer system in the thing. It was, hope we didn't leave that in there.
Well, hey, I've got 9 o'clock and we've got a quorum, so let's go ahead and get started.
All right.
Let's see here. If we could, the members here, we'll start with just introductions. Barry, I'll start with you.
I'm Barry Manaway. I'm here.
Barry's from the Plan and BZA.
Chuck DeWitt, building commissioner.
I'm Jonathan Leist. I'm the town manager. We're the 3 members here in person. You guys want to go ahead? I know they can't see it, but.
Matt Pritchard with Milestone Construction.
And John Gradle with Milestone Construction.
And then joining us online, we have 2 additional members, Chester Goop from the Plan Commission and Bob Porter, our utility. Looks like we have the Faribaugh and Tony Sellers as well. I think that's everybody. All right, first thing on the agenda was approval of previous meeting minutes from October 27th. Did everybody get a chance to review those? Were there any questions or concerns?
Move to approve.
A motion from Chester. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Barry. Any further discussion? Not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Chuck, are you an aye?
Yes, I have too.
Any nays? All right. Minutes are approved. Send them your way, Chuck.
Yes.
All right. Up next, site plan review for 90 South Shore. In front of you, those of you that are here in person, I've got a printed off update of the site plan. Bob and Chester, the one that was attached to the meeting was the old version. Just got an update this morning, but I think the only change was the impervious surface, right?
Yes.
So everything else is the same. Just got an update on the impervious surface. Thanks. So actually, if you don't mind, John, I'll kind of start with you. If you want to give us a real broad overview of what's going on here, what the permit being applied for is, and just a real high-level overview of the project.
Okay. So the Farabaughs purchased an existing home. I'm not exactly sure when. That has been demolished, and we have trees yet to come down, but the plan is to build a complete new home that's been designed for them. And so, and the plan would be, of course, to start on that just as soon as we can get things figured out with the site plan and the questions you guys have here. But so we developed the site plan. I know that the Farabaughs would like to. One of the questions we have is the parking area out front, the existing parking, and there's an existing masonry wall there that they would definitely like to keep intact, as not only the Farabaughs but the neighbors use that parking area for overflow parking, and so definitely want to keep or work that into the final design. And other than that, I mean, it's just another project, a new lake home project. The Farabaughs family owns the 2 properties, starting Mary Ellen's father owns the home to the west, smaller log cabin to the west of them that's owned by her. It's in her family as well. So they'll actually have 3 properties there. And then the neighbors, their neighbors to the east have been longtime neighbors as well. And we've been working with them as for tree removal and things like that. So think of right now.
Great. With that, if you guys don't have any specific questions for them yet, we'll just start going through the plan review checklist. Looks like all the existing buildings are indicated on the plan and the new buildings are indicated with diagonal lines. Let's look specifically at lot lines and setbacks. Chuck, do you mind reading those to me on the larger print there? So from the lake, it's line of sight. I don't know that we have a measurement, right?
I'm looking here, where's our lakeside?
It looks
Here,
like,
okay.
yeah. It looks like they had met with you and
So this is the
clarified those,
Yes.
correct?
Line from the,
So Lakeside, you've viewed it personally and you're good with the line drawn here.
yes.
And I'm just gonna ask you again, because the print's really small in here, if you could read the two side yard ones for us.
Okay, side yard is 11 feet, 0.5 inches. And on the other side is 11 feet, 9 inches.
So 11 feet on both sides, and on the street side? Is it 28? No, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
No.
Street says right here, Chuck, and it's actually 25, 9.5, because there's a projection that comes out here. There's a roof overhang.
Yeah. So 25
That one is? Okay.
25 feet, 9.5.
Okay. So all good on setbacks. Principal building height, looks like even to the very top of the cupola, you're at 31 feet and some change, is that correct, under 32?
Yes.
Accessory buildings, the garage is attached, correct? That's the only accessory?
The only thing that would be separate would be out here, we're doing a concrete pad, and that's for when they currently locate their pier during the winter time, and they wanted to have a concrete pad out here to set their pier on.
And that'll be at grade level.
Yes.
And the size on that, it's 15 by 15?
15 by 15.
Was that, you say there's one there now?
There is not a pad there now. I think the pier is just kind of sitting on the ground out there.
You're thinking, well,
It's just gonna pour right up to the seawall.
Oh, seawall will stay where it's at.
Right.
It'll just be at the top level of the seawall.
on the field all day.
So 15 by 15, that's under the 250 square foot that's allowed in the front yard of a lake,
Right.
kind of the next item down there. But no other accessory buildings or accessory structures other than the pad down at the lake.
Correct.
So, okay. The finished square footage of the home. We've got the footprint, but I don't know that we have it for the entire finish.
So Sean has square footages outlined. Somewhere. There we are. So if you look, so the main level is 3,808. I don't know how you want to list all that, but it's got the garage listed and.
We're just looking for the minimum and you've met it there, so we're good.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure I had it in the minutes. And the garage itself has 2 parking spaces at least, right?
Yes.
So minimum parking is met. Stormwater drainage plan. I know it's not, or let's look, what's the maximum, or I'm sorry, it's, the total property square footage is 19,000. 832 square feet. Bring my book. Chuck, is that large enough to require a county review?
No, we wouldn't. I think we will because of the size of the building and the impervious surface, because we're at 38 feet, plus we have the impervious parking in up there, so we would like to do a review, drainage review for the county.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're doing it for the town of Culver. We're just doing it through the county surveyor and
Gotcha.
his office.
Do you want to handle that separately and set that up, Chuck, or do any of us need to be present for that? How do you want to handle that? We haven't had to do one in a while.
I can just set that up and handle without anybody. I'll have Ty, myself, Craig Coltice, our surveyor. At that point, we will then come up with the questions that we've got, visit the site, and then get in touch with John,
Okay.
and then give you an answer back on that, Jonathan.
That's fine, as long as you've got a plan for it and
Yeah.
it's
So one of
communicated.
the questions I had, and Chuck, in previous projects, and my learning experience working in Culver and on Lake Maxinkuckee, originally with Russ Mason, was piping to the lake, but then we had the sedimentation structures, so that the water would not discharge directly to the lake.
Okay.
And so, but, and I think I talked to Tony a little bit about, hey, did this change, or is there things going through changes on this? And so can you kind of update me on that a little bit?
That's still what we want to look for. Well, the main thing we're going to look for in our drainage plan is to make sure you can contain the water that you put
On site.
On site.
Yes.
And by having the downspouts run into your catch basin and out to the lake, that's fine. We'll just
Okay.
need to know that. It's one of the questions we'll have.
So can I show you on the site
Sure.
drawing? real
Yeah,
quick?
absolutely.
So what I did, I mean, pretty similar to what I had done on Moore's, we laid out drainage. So we're picking up all of our downspouts into a site drainage area. And then we're working with Todd Langfeld on. So I tried to locate specific areas where I thought we might need a yard drain, because we don't have that much slope coming down here. So these drains might pick up spots that would need to have some help in drainage during
Sure.
a rain event. And then we'll run 6-inch PVC on out to our drainage structures here, and then out through the seawall.
Okay.
And then the same thing on this side. So, yeah, actually, he didn't show. Well, so we have, there's probably going to be a gutter here too. So we'd probably run a line down out here too to pick all that up, and then run laterals out. So that's where we would handle the site drainage.
So we're looking at two sediment structures out here.
Yes, so basically we're gonna pick up both sides.
And this might be enough. I mean,
Okay, well, I guess just let me know what you
yeah,
need.
it looks like it's gonna be adequate, but we'll let.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think, John, I had sent you a note that the only thing, when we've been looking at them, and it's not, I don't think in writing a specific requirement in there, in our ordinance yet, but on the lake, if possible, if there's a way for them to drain out into the yard and then get to the lake after passing over some vegetation rather than go directly into the lake, that is our preference. And that's,
So maybe we move the structure
Yeah.
back. And then let the outlet flow over the top into the lake.
and that's just something we've been working with the environmental
that.
council on.
You mean let this structure overflow
Yes.
so it would actually build up and come out the top of it?
Well, or whatever elevation you have so that it would come out and flow then over the
Further
side.
from the lake.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. So they're gonna put glacial stone on the outside of the seawall.
Mhm.
If it comes out through the seawall and flows over the glacial stone, is that a help?
That does help, absolutely.
Not as much as
I say vegetation's the best. I mean, that's
Sure.
what, again, we've kind of worked with Lake Max Environmental Council on their recommendations on kind of best practices around the lake. And that's what they'd like to see. And it's probably something we'll make a requirement at some point.
So my comment on that is, with a sloping lot, what you're talking about is fairly easy to do, where it can
Yeah.
come out through that structure and then drain out onto grade
Right.
that's downstream. On a lot that's fairly level like this, that presents a bit of a drainage.
And that's where I
issue.
would defer to Chuck and the county when they review it. If that's,
Okay.
I know there are some where that's absolutely the case, and we'd be fine with working with you on that. We
Okay.
just want to make sure we're doing everything we can.
Yeah,
to
just
keep it
let us
clean.
know.
Okay, I'll do that, John.
Jonathan, you mentioned the IDEM requirements
Yeah.
in your notes. What is, how
Yeah.
does that fit in?
And again, I'm not real familiar with it for individuals. I just know on a public system like ours, it does require a permit.
Yeah.
And Bob, do you know anything about it on an individual basis?
Individually, I'm not sure what the rules are. I know we're restricted within 10 feet of the water. We have to have a
Yeah.
DNR permit.
That was my only point, Chester, was that we can't issue that. That's not a local permit. So if they
Wow.
need one, I was just encouraging them to contact IDEM if,
Yeah, okay.
because that's not something we can grant.
Okay,
I mean, I can add a little bit to
Sure.
it too. So my experience with IDEM is they would have no review or comment on a residential property where you're releasing water to the lake. If it was a commercial situation, they would.
It's just the single property, right?
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. That was my impression, but I didn't want to tell you the wrong thing. All right. Next
Jonathan, can I
item.
ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
So if it's required to outlet these drains directly into the lawn, does that minimize then the need for a deep catch basin in that situation? Obviously, because obviously you would want to be able, that catch basin's got to be able to drain out the bottom of some way. And the normal requirements were that they were to be, 4 feet deep to hold the sediment below the pipe. So if we're going to outlet them, let them drain over the top, then would that mean a shorter catch basin? You're just wanting the water to be able to get out of that thing. And, what we've done in that situation, put weep holes in the bottom of it so it can still drain out, because you don't want water to sit in there in wintertime and freeze up inside the catch basin.
Sure. No, I think having weeples in it makes sense. What was the first question?
Just the specs on originally it wasn't based on anything except they made a requirement that the catch basins had to be a minimum of 2 feet round by, I think it was 4 feet deep.
Yeah.
So if they go to this new rule about, letting these things just overflow into the yard, because what happens is obviously some of these properties where the lake is, the water level is only a foot or two below the seawall, that catch basin sometimes is actually sitting in the water.
Yeah.
To an extent, there's always water in it. So that was just a question.
Well, actually, just for what it's worth, Tony, Bob and I were talking about that this morning. So we're looking at updating stormwater fees in town. And as we're doing that, we've also been discussing a couple of these stormwater issues where, like you mentioned, we've got some pretty generic specs for requirements on a catch basin. Reached out the end of last week to Mark Sullivan, who we use for stormwater engineering, for maybe some guidance on how to specifically handle some of these situations and have a little more detailed specifications for them. Because right now, it's that we asked for one and we have that kind of general diagram in there, but it doesn't fit every situation. So I would just say, in this case, the county will be reviewing it. If it was Bob and I think we would be flexible with you on what makes sense. We've got that general requirement in the book, but yeah, every site's a little bit different, and I think we'd be willing to work with you on something that makes sense.
All right, great, thanks.
Yep. Meets lot frontage and lot width requirements. It's 100 feet at the lake, correct? Is that right? 250-foot plats, it looks like.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's marked at the front building location, but I'm assuming it's pretty close to that. Is it actually wider at the street? Or is it
So it has dimensions 57.52 and 57.42.
Okay.
Is it meter?
114?
Jonathan,
Yes.
on the size of the house versus the lot setback,
Mm-hmm.
or the percentage wise, do we still have to figure that?
Yes, 10%, and it is, so we've got 11 on each. And so even at the building location, which is I think what we go by, right, not the frontage. So at 110, it would meet that, yeah. Or 114, I'm sorry. Any other questions on frontage or lot widths? Move on to the next one. Structures and parking are proper setbacks from residential, no issue there. Same with property line, abutting residential areas. Supplemental regulations, any other concerns anyone has on supplementary regulations?
No.
Erosion control measures.
Do those lots have to be combined, Jonathan, to,
I'll give that one to Chuck.
Yeah, please.
He's shaking his head, yes.
We're not gonna build over a property line. so-
Right. That was, I was gonna bring it up.
Are they shown on the GIS as not being combined?
Correct.
They are.
Yeah, they're combined for tax purposes, but
Okay, so we need a quick claim on
Yes.
that. Okay.
I might have to be the bad guy, Jonathan.
That's your rule. You're in charge of that one. We appreciate you doing it.
Not that you're well noted, though, you're doing a good job.
Anything out of the ordinary on erosion control, Chuck?
No,
And give-
sometimes it's easier to have erosion control on a steep lot than it is a flat lot. Because sometimes when we get a flat lot, we think, oh, well, it's flat, nothing anywhere. We still need to protect the environment and the neighbors.
Right, so, I mean, Todd will put silt fence around the perimeter of the lot.
Yeah.
It's hard to, I mean, now with weather and just to be,
Yeah. I mean, that's just standard, what we do in the
Right.
project.
And then if you, I don't know, has it already been demolished? I did not go down there
Yeah,
myself either.
yes.
Okay. So if you're able to still use the previous drive, so there's not a lot of the sediment being pulled off site during construction. So
Correct.
keep that up as long as you can, obviously.
And we want to use that for access, just because of the way that the
Great.
drive and the wall and everything is right now.
Awesome. That should help with that.
what was the impervious surface? I didn't catch that part of it.
Hey,
Actually,
one ahead of me. Signage issues? There's no signs. All right. Impervious surface. Good question, Chester. So the updated version, we're now at 46%. The thing that was missing on the report that I had sent to you and Bob Chester was just, there's that parking area off the street, but it's on their parcel. A portion of it is anyway. So I had them add that, and it looks like they added 2,000 square feet. That's that off-street paved parking, which brings their impervious total to 9,161 square feet. The entire property is 19,832 for a percentage of 46%.
oh, okay. So we're in good shape there.
Yep, good shape. That's all on our checklist. We're not in town. We don't need sidewalks. No landscaping plan review required. I had a couple notes that I did want to get to then if Go back to those, pull those up here. So we covered the parking and the storm drains. The last thing was really the brick wall. I think you noted the height on a specific sheet you gave us. So it was, if I'm reading it correctly, John, it's like if you start at one end, it's 21 inches high on one side, and the grade difference behind it's that much that it's 42 on the other.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
And those numbers written across there, that's 20 and 42, 26 and 42, 30 and 45, and 31 and 43.
Yes.
Okay. So, what's there can stay, but if things are coming out, what's being put up in its place does have to meet the current requirement, which, let's see, I've got it written there, is a maximum of 5 feet in height with 50% visibility. So we've allowed solid 30 inches, saying that that's half of the 5 feet.
Which side of the wall do you look at?
And that's the question. I would assume we're looking from the public right of way would be what we care about.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't want to answer for Chuck, but
That's what we had in the past.
so the height we care about is from the street side.
So the area that gets filled in is where the old driveway or the existing driveway is.
Right.
Yeah,
So if you, on the roadside, somewhere between 26 and 30 inches high at that location.
you're gonna attach it to each side, so
So it's a continuous wall.
continuous wall.
And then where the new drive goes, that's where we're gonna remove a portion of the wall,
Right.
just to gain into the property.
So the rest of it is staying? You just kind
Yes,
of,
we're going to enhance the appearance of it with a natural thin veneer stone that's going to tie in with the house. So
Okay.
it all looks like it goes together.
Is this lawn on sewer town or on
no. I assume,
Sewer district.
yeah.
sewer district?
So it comes to us eventually, but it's on there.
And they will make sure that it's hooked up. They don't miss one.
I just knew it wasn't on here, but I was.
So just to be clear, on the brick wall, the maximum height is 30 inches from the street, measured from the street side. That was the only other thing I had. Any other questions or comments from commission members? Barry, I'll start with you.
I have none.
Chuck, anything for you?
Nothing.
Chester, did you have any other questions or concerns?
no,
Bob Porter?
I'm good. Thank you, sir.
All right. Anything from anybody else on the call, Tony or the fair boss? Anything from you guys?
So before we can get a building permit, then we have to wait on your review.
Yes, and I will have that, try to have that done within 2 days.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, so, building, so same floor, or make it simple.
And then based on your review, I mean, if you have questions, we address those.
Right.
And if not, then this is the first time I've done this all by computer. So then do I get an email back that
Yes.
says how much the fee is and,
And you'll get an email back telling you what stages it's at,
okay,
and then you will get an email at the end telling you what you owe.
okay, all right.
So it's that simple. If you got questions, you got my number.
Okay, yeah. You got all my contact info?
Let me just make sure.
Might get check a card too, you know.
Well,
Just in case.
before we finish up here, of course, we would want a motion to approve. I guess the one condition it sounds like we need to put on it would be that the approval would be conditioned upon the stormwater drainage plan approval by the county, which Chuck will organize. So do I have a motion from a board member to approve under that condition?
So moved.
Got first from Barry. Do I have a second?
Second.
Chester with the second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. That was all we had on the agenda for today. Any other member concerns or comments before we go?
Hey, John, I got one quick question. When did you guys say that, just for future reference, when does the county review required for a drainage requirement? When does that
So-
come into play?
Yeah, there's a county ordinance which basically says if we don't have review over it and it's over 4,000 square feet of disturbed area, that the county surveyor is going to review it. And that was something that's been on the books for like 20 years, but the town probably didn't realize until about 2 years ago. And so if it's over that amount of disturbed area, we've always tried to get Craig here and coordinate it with our TRC meeting, or have Chuck meet with him afterwards and make sure that everybody's on the same page. But so the Marshall County ordinance has been there for, I think it was in the 90s that it was but other surveyors maybe didn't communicate it, or our building commissioner wasn't aware of it in the past or whatever. But the last few years, I think the whole time Chuck's been here, we've been handling them that way. If they're large enough to require the county review, we've been coordinating with them on that.
Okay, great,
All right.
thanks.
Yep. No, if there's no further business, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion from Barry. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll give that one to Bob so he's in the books. All right. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thank you. Hey, Chuck. Oh, Chuck. You guys still there? Hello? No, go on.